Good morning, students. I am Mrs. Nivote, your tutor and marker for Religious, Moral and Life Skills Education 2. I would like to welcome you to this subject. I will discuss some of the content of your study guide in order to help you to prepare for your 2021 examinations. By now, you should have a good idea on what the subject is about because you have completed an assignment and studied the guide thoroughly, hopefully. Please note that I cannot give attention to the whole content. So, should you have any questions, please contact me for help. You can either phone me or email me and I will try to help you to the best of my abilities. My contact details will be at the end of this presentation. Your examination hints. Make sure you know what is expected of you when a question is asked. Read through the verbs, thinking processes at the beginning of your study guide. In addition, please read the questions well. In my experience as a marker, I noticed that some students don't read the whole question or read to understand the questions. For example, if the question asks you to define means you must give the precise or the brief meaning of something. And describe means you have to give detailed features of an issue. Remember that you cannot list or name the facts if the question asks you to describe, explain, discuss, or whatever the case might be. I also want to point out that you should go through the whole of your RMLS12 study guide because you will have to answer multiple choice questions which covers the entire spectrum of this study guide. Please make sure that you pay extra attention to these information, and if you want to get good marks, you will make sure that you know the facts by heart. I am going to point out some units separately and stress the most important facts. In Unit 1, which consists of the aspects of belonging, and this unit consists of various subsections. The concept of belonging is 1.1. Then there are the ways of showing others that we love or value them, which is a very important part. And though that is a very relevant part because we have to love our neighbors like ourselves. So please be sure to know that part very, very well. What it means to love someone and how you should love your neighbor according to the Bible and the Quran. That is, why do you think is it in bold? Very important. How to show your family members and others that we love or value them. Very important because we are all in a family concept. So, very important. 1.6 is the different feelings and how to recognize them in others. 1.7, the importance of controlling some feelings. And 1.8, on the other hand, is also very important because you know to need the functions of a religious leader in your community. So, know it by heart. The role of the Council of Churches in Namibia, and then the last one is the summary. And I would like to emphasize that you must know the content of this entire unit well in order to answer the multiple choice questions. I want to point out 1.4, the views of the Bible and the Quran on how to love one's neighbor. In both Islam and Christianity, people are called to worship only God or Allah. This means that all aspects of Christian and Muslim life come from God or Allah. In the Old Testament of the Bible, people are called to treat others as they would like to be treated themselves, which is very, very important. The Quran provides for all aspects of human life and explains the responsibilities that each person has towards others. This is only a summary, but make sure that you get all the facts from 1.4 in your study guide. 1.5 is how to show your family members that you love or value them. This is such an important desire of any human being. that it is also very important to know how to show this very common source of belonging to family and friends. In 1.5, some of the loving gestures you can make to demonstrate your love is to spread good vibes and uplifting thoughts, refrain from criticizing, never ever allow family put downs, allow being available when your family needs you. 1.6 are the different feelings and how to recognize them in others. What are feelings? And the basic emotions in life is love and fear. How to control your feelings. Very intense emotions blind us to the future and con us that now is all that matters. In fact, current emotions like anger or anxiousness can make one forget that there is even going to be a future. Learn to observe your own attitudes and emotional flows. The first key step to emotional control is to know when we are actually being emotional or how and why. The second one is identify why you feel the way you do. Change your mood. Do something different. We tend to assume that moods just happen to us and, like storms, the best we can do is wait until it passes. Get to know yourself. And the way you feel about yourself is how you think. It's all in your head, all in the mind. So if you want to be positive, you can be positive. 1.8, as I've pointed out, the typical task of a religious leader in the community. This is just a summary to provide guidance and instruction to the members. The second one is they may perform for the following tasks, like planning ceremonies and services, supervise prayer and discussions, conduct services of public worship and sacraments, conduct baptisms, marriages, funerals, provide personal support. Make sure that you know all the facts of this subsection about religious leaders. Then in Unit 2, the different ceremonies of our lives. Also very important because you might either find to answer a full-length question on it, or it could be in your multiple choice questions. The importance of ceremonies like weddings or marriages, births, funerals. Similarities and differences between people's values in relation to elders and ancestors. The elderly. We've got all the soft spots for an elderly, so please study it. Ancestor worshipping. The meaning of confirmation for Christians, Baha'i, and Islams. Please make sure that you know that as well. And the different views of the Sabbath, the different views of marriage and ways of getting married, which is also important to study. 2.5.2 is the different ways of getting married. Make sure you know it. And then lastly, the summary. People's attitudes and values in relation to elders in the community. Pay attention to the similarities and the differences between people's attitudes and values in relation to elders in the community. Few cultures in the world that have always respected the elders no matter what age or condition their bodies and minds are in. And use your experience and observations on how elders are treated in Namibia. Then 2.5 are the different ways of getting married. You must be able to give a short description of the different weddings. For example, a civil wedding. What is it? How is it conducted? Elopement. It is the act of getting married, often unexpectedly, without inviting guests to the weddings. Usually, it's only the family at the ceremony. But there are lots of others which you have to know in order to answer all the questions. As I've said, please note, you must know the content of this unit to be able to answer also the multiple choice question. And there could be a full-length question as well. Unit 3 are the sacred issues. Unit 3 consists of the difference between AD and BC. Make sure you know what those AD and BC means. Sacred objects and places of some religion, also very important. That's why it's in bold. Weekly and annual times of worship of some religions. Sacred books of some religions, like the Bible and the Quran and all that. The value of religious hymns or songs from different religions. The religious meaning of water, well-known stories of the Buddha religion, and the story of Muhammad as prophet. The positive characteristics of Jesus. 3.10 is the Christian and Islamic 10 commandments and how Namibian laws incorporate them. And also the different religious perspectives on the creation of the natural world. And lastly, then the summary. Make sure that you know the summaries as well, eh? Don't just skip them. And as I've said previously, please make sure that you know all the content of this unit in order to answer the multiple choice questions. I'm going to point out the sacred objects and places of some religions. What does sacred means? It means holy. So you can, an object or a place in which is regarded as holy, see it as extraordinary or unique. And some sacred places are Mount Sinai, Christianity, Bethlehem. In Israel, the birthplace of Jesus, Nazareth in Israel, where Jesus lived and began his ministry, Jerusalem, the Catholic, the Vatican. Make sure you know some places of religion. The different forms of worship, you got that in your assignment. You got it in a previous exam paper. So, make sure that you know them. Why do we worship? What is the meaning of worship? There is a worship that expresses the heart, a worship that involves the mind, and a worship that involves your whole body. And it can take the following forms: an offering of sacrifices, offering of animals, like in the Bible, by praying, by focusing and teaching of the Holy Scriptures, public reading of Scriptures, the obedience to God and living according to His laws, offering praise, doing good, and sharing with others. Unit 4 are the religious festivals, which are the Christmas, Easter, Passover, all those stuff. The meaning of the activities of a Christian Christmas, and whether other religions have a similar festival. It doesn't have to be the 25th of December, it could be any time of the year. The meaning of Easter and Passover, which is very important for the Christianity. The main events that led to the condemnation of Jesus, and the religious observances in an African tradition. And then lastly, the summary. Make sure you know the whole unit in order to answer the questions in the multiple choice question. How religious values influence social values, which is in Unit 5, 5.1, why one should care for other people and not bully or exploit them. Bullying is a very relevant action in it could be in your office, it could be at your business, it could be in your school, it could be at home. So that is why bullying is a relevant action. You should pay attention to that as well. And then the next one is why one should forgive or reconcile with others. We can't live in anger for the rest of our lives. You have to forgive and reconcile. So pay attention to that. Why there should be rules in our society, and what is a healthy society, and comparison between Islam and Christian faith regarding their values. The meaning of respect and how to link it to democracy. A very important aspect and a subsection, because respect, if you don't have respect, you can't love. So you can see the link between the two of them. How humanity is linked to values, and the negative consequences of ignoring values, rules, and laws. And then lastly, the values and qualities of good leaders in the society. Good leaders, leaders that you would like, people that you would like to see as a leader how and should they look like, how should they behave. I want to point out 5.1, ways to help older people. Make a simple, friendly chat or phone call. And I think in this time that we are in, that is, we can't get to our elderly people, that is a very valuable thing to do, is a phone call. Give your time. There are older people around that are all very lonely. Spending time with them will make a huge difference to their well-being. Starting a conversation. Seize the opportunity to introduce yourself to an elderly neighbor. Give a hug and extra support. 5.9 are the requirements and characteristics of a good leader, as I've pointed out. A good leader should know themselves, and they should know how to face challenges or ethical choices. Willing to commit, in addition to being self-aware, an effective leader is not afraid to take on responsibilities. They know they don't know everything. They are open to change. As I go through this, you must just remember that this is only a summary of the requirements and characteristics of a good leader. Please make sure that you consult your study guide for more information on this subsection. Unit 6 is the relationship between happiness and personal values. First of all, you need to know what are values, and the situations when one was content and determining why. Relating inner peace to values. The difference between fun and happiness. Relating values to relationships and happiness. Then another bold one, how pain and suffering affect people of all religions. Different religious perspectives on how one can be healed from sin and guilt. Different domains of personal development. Particular growth tasks to be achieved in each phase of one's life. 6.8 I would like to point out, which is personal development. And that is about improving yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. And all these areas of personal development, therefore, aim to improve your mind, your heart, your spirit, and your body. The areas of your life that will help you to improve include the habits, career, money, health, relationships, spirituality. Go through it. It might be an important question. The next one is roadblocks or challenges to personal development. Loosely defined goals. Setting goals is a fundamental part of achievement. Current status are known. Once you know where you want to go, it is vital that you accurately and honestly assess exactly where you are right now. Internal conflict. This challenge is the one that can sabotage your effort without you even knowing what happened. Delegating personal responsibility. And resistance to change. One of the best ways to beat this resistance is to practice letting go, which is not always that easy. Unit 8, very important in these days, the children's rights and responsibilities. These are very important units, Unit 7 and Unit 8, so make sure that you know it by heart. Unit 7 is about children's rights, human rights across the world, and relation to justice and fairness. Children's responsibilities at home, at school, and general. And the link of values to these responsibilities. Important responsibilities such as saving water, food, and resources, which is very important to know. And how to say no, how to teach children to say no to improper proposals, activities, or events. Those are really very important. If it's in bold, you need to study it thoroughly. I'm pointing out children's responsibilities in general. Children can have responsibilities too. They are not too small to have responsibilities, and you can give them a responsibility according to their age. Grow up and become a good adult. That's a responsibility. Have good ideas, and every day try to be the very best you can. Control yourself for everyone around you. Look around, be interested, and try many things to do and to explore. I want to point out that you need to read the rest of this information in your study guide, and this is a very important subsection. The importance of saving natural resources, and that also includes food and water. That natural resources are oil, petrol, and we rely on our natural resources for survival, for everyday things like pencils, desks, tables, baskets. Products that are used for medicine will run out. Imagine a world without clean water, clean air, sustainable land, or living oceans. Please make sure that you also know saving water, which is a very relevant aspect in our country. How to save water: turning off the tap, don't let the water run, flush your toilet carefully, reduce how often your toilet is flushed. When you shower or bath, use only the water that you need. That is just a summary, and I think most of us know it, but please apply it as well. And I'm going to say it once more. Please study very well the importance of saving food as well. 7.6 is how to say no to improper proposals. This is very important for our children because they are targets. And know it very well, because you need to teach the children how to say no to these improper proposals. Teach them, show them, tell them what does it mean if somebody touches you appropriate or inappropriately. Get away fast. Tell them to run away, to scream, if you don't feel uncomfortable in somebody's presence, explain and show children which adults can be trusted, and be careful with that one, because a trusted adult can be somebody that you know, can be a family member. So be very careful when you explain that one. Always tell a trusted adult if someone hurt you. Always tell a trusted adult if someone hurt you or where you are going. Be careful of abductors, which is very, we see it every day in the news now, of kids being kidnapped. So be careful of that. Play and go in groups, and don't take anything from anybody. If the worst should happen, fall down, kick, scream, bite, make as much noise as possible. Unit 8, selective life skills. Now that is a very, very, very important and very relevant unit. We are using it like in every day of our lives. So, as you can see, there are a lot of bold subsections. Make sure you know them by heart. 8.1 is how to improve your self-image. 8.2, how to use praise and encouragement to build up people. How to compile a CV. How to prepare yourself for an interview. The emotional, financial, and practical responsibilities of having a family, which is very important. And reasons why marriages end up in the divorce court. On 8.3, I just want to point out that you have to know also how to compile a CV. What are the necessary information that you need to put in a CV in order to get your post. How to maintain positive interpersonal relationships, the impact of pornography On your maturity and relationships. 8.9, the do's and the don'ts for internet chat rooms, which is very relevant today, in these days. 8.10, how to communicate assertively, very important. 8.11, how to develop a positive attitude and the benefits of having a positive attitude. And then, as you can see, this is a very practical and important unit. Make sure that you know this unit by heart. I'm pointing out 8.4. How to prepare for an interview. And all the subsections are very important. Make sure that your clothes are neatly and tidy. Don't wear flashy jewelry, ladies. Dress according to the season. Go through it. Make sure you know it. 8.5.4, the parents' involvement in their children's education. Why does parents need to be involved in their children's? You can't just leave them to grow up by themselves. They need to see the example. Communicate regularly with your children's teachers. Make sure that your child is completing his or homework each night. Assist your child with his or homework, but don't do the homework. Talk to your child each and every day about school. Recognize and acknowledge your child's academic achievements. In other words, be present in your child's life. 8.6, why marriages often fail and end in divorce courts. The main reasons, there are lots of reasons, but I'm only pointing out some of them, so you have to go and study the rest in your study guide. Expect the spouse to change, expectation problems, talking versus communicating, time management, which is very relevant these days because our modern lifestyles is a very stressful lifestyle and it takes a lot of our time. The lack of intimacy, extramarital affairs, finance issues. Please go and study this 8.6 very well. 8.8, the effect of pornography. Could be a very traumatic emotional response. That could be really bad. Earlier onset of first sexual intercourse, thereby increasing the risk of STDs, increased risk of exposure to incorrect information, of sexual compulsions and addictive behavior, overestimating the prevalence of less common practices. Please pay attention to all the facts of this very important section. 8.9, the do's and don'ts of internet chat rooms, very important. Please know it by heart. Don't talk about very personal things when you are in an internet chat room. Choose chat rooms over real friends. Don't do it. Real friends are more worth than a chat room. Don't allow yourself to be harassed online. Don't lie about yourself. And don't allow yourself to be pressurized into a meeting. Go back to your study guide and make sure you get all the facts of this subsection. Assertive communication, also very important, is a particular kind of communication. It's a way of affirming your own rights and point of view without being aggressive towards the other person. It's the ability to express positive and negative ideas and feelings in an open, honest, and direct way. It recognizes our rights. And it allows us to constructively confront and find a mutual satisfying solution where conflict exists. We carry on, be honest about emotions, focus on the cause of the problem, and offer possible solutions. Focus on the problem, the cause of the problem. And don't bring any other issues to the conversation. Make very sure that you know this unit very well. In conclusion, give special attention to the content of this presentation. The information presented in this document are summarized Know it, it's summarized. Pay attention to that word. Please read in detail in your study guide. Please study the detail. Start early and study every day. Enjoy your studies and good luck for the exams. And if you need any help or information, you are welcome to contact me either per email or on my cell phone between 6 o'clock in the evening and 8 o'clock in the evening. Good luck.